time to get geeked up.
While he's doing that, like we said, this is a documentary we watched on Biggie Smalls, and just kind of it's one of many, or maybe not as many rap documentaries as you would think would be out there. I mean, I guess there's more than I'm giving credit for, but Liam, as you're puffing that Biggie blunt, besides a Biggie Biggie documentary, what's another hip hop documentary you would think of?
Well, there's been a couple that we've watched, that I've watched just in recent, months here. But as well, I'd say even before we do the documentaries, maybe should we talk a little bit about the Biggie movie that has come out? Because you're right, in recent years, there's been more like famous biopics than docs, including the Biggie movie, which we hadn't even talked about yet. But did you ever actually see the movie? Because I never did.
I have watched the movie. I didn't see it in the theaters, but I have watched it.
Okay, what'd you think? You like it or what?
It's good. It's in the same vein as there's always been music biopics, but I feel like a lot of post 8 Mile biopic they've all kind of been the same, of just I don't know, the same feel, and it's good enough. The guy that plays him is really good. But
see, I kind of have just been scared to watch any of those because I just figured they were going to suck. The NWA one kind of shattered that because I saw that rapper biopic, and it was great. But I kind of just figured the Biggie one was going to suck and didn't want to watch it because I didn't want to fucking have that era of my life tarnished at all. Same thing with the 50 Cent Get Rich or Die Trying that I heard was, I guess, pretty good. The Tupac one where this kid was literally genetically born just to be the fucking Tupac movie with that face.
For real, dude. I said that too. I don't care if that guy's never acted a day in his life. It's almost like the old Elvis rumors. Do you think Tupac came back to play himself in the movie and he was just
yes, for sure.
Oh no, my name's Mark. And it's all right, good enough.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If we were ever wondering if Tupac was dead, he's fucking acting again. He was in the RZA movie for fuck's sake. He's alive and well.
Himself. There's another good hip hop movie, not like a hip hop documentary, but and it's about nobody, dude, but it's just a bunch of rappers, and it's directed by a guy that directed a bunch of rap videos, but I'm sure you've seen it too. But Belly is one of the all-time
oh man, amazing
standout hip-hop movies of all time.
For sure. Well, that's come up on shows before, but also, man, talk about just an amazing acting performance from Nas and DMX to then really never followed up with anything. But Nas was fucking great. Nas, who's, I guess we'll talk about on the show, but he's my second favorite rapper ever behind Biggie, but that was a great performance, much like Ray Allen in his Spike Lee movie. It's these guys do amazing work, and then they don't follow it up with a full career, but no, Belly was great, though.
And that's one of those things, too, that you think they got the good, acting performance out of him, because I forget the guy's name that directed it, but he was
was it Hype Wilson or...
I think it is. I think it's Hype Williams.
Yeah, Hype Williams like that. But yeah, he would do all those videos at the time.
Video director. So he's already worked with a lot of these guys.
But I guess maybe to transition from that back into the question that you brought up with some of the sickest music videos in rap and hip hop, I go the Beastie Boys, and they just had their recent docu series on Apple TV that me and you both upgraded our iPhones finally, so we got a free year of Apple TV.
Yeah.
You told me about
Very
it,
true.
fucking. So the first thing I did was watch that Beastie Boys docu series, which was great. It's kind of their two-man show, as we've talked about, where it's them kind of, it's them just telling the story. It's not the Biggie documentary or a traditional documentary, but spliced with a lot of photos and the two remaining Beastie Boys telling all the really cool stories. I read the Beastie Boys book, as we talked about on the show, but that was a fucking great, just a great read, really fun stories going back and forth between just fun punk rock, hip hop stories from their career to behind the scenes stuff. Just a really fun read. And the docu series on Apple kind of was the two-man show of the book.
Absolutely.
But that was real entertaining.
And just to piggyback off that too, man, because you said best rap video of all time, but I think Sabotage is hands down the all-time best music video of all time. Name me a better video.
I know. I mean, it's tough. Have we ever done our official music video closer look that we always talk about?
I don't think so, man.
Yeah, but because we've talked about it on the show, I literally still go Coolio, Gangsters, or what was the fucking Coolio that I love? From the beach to the hood.
Beach is that.
Yeah, the beach to hood.
Slide,
yeah, Fantastic Voyage. I still go Coolio, Fantastic Voyage. And if we're going cross genre, I actually go Soundgarden, Black Hole Sun as my favorite music video ever. But Beastie Boys, Sabotage is fucking amazing. And you're right, like the
That's
guy
true,
from.
but you're also forgetting, and we should do a close look at this because you're also forgetting about like. Aerosmith had 90s music videos on lock,
yes.
dude,
with Alicia
between Eddie
Silverstone
Furlong hanging around with the devil or Alicia Silverstone.
I forgot Eddie Furlong was in that one.
Yeah, dude, living on the edge. Dude, I used to think those were so cool, and I've seen a couple of those recently, and I was just like, oh my god.
The Beastie Boys also as well had the all-time best Letterman or like live TV music guest appearance where they did Letterman, but they came out from the subway. They started the performance literally on the subway and then came up the 53rd Street subway entrance onto the, like, through the back fucking doors of the Ed Sullivan Theater and finished the live performance, you know, live to tape, but the performance, like, on stage at the fucking Ed Sullivan Theater. That was sick. So the Beastie Boys are, sick, for, like, that kind of artistic shit, the Beastie Boys were great, but we'll get into some of the history of rap later with the hip-hop, gangster rap kind of thing. But
for true. I would say another one, too, and just another, like, rap group, though, but the Wu-Tang of Mics and Men documentary is pretty amazing, dude.
Free show time trial. You can bang that one out in your free month easy. I recommend doing it. And then there's
also, kind of like we were talking about also, there's also, like, the bio series on, I think, Hulu, where it's actual, like, a TV show where actors are playing the Wu-Tang and how they came up, but this is of Mics and Men, of like the actual like 4-episode documentary.
I watched that, which was amazing. It gets the guys back together to watch it, kind of. It like cuts to them. The way that they do their Andy Cohen reunion take is they show all of them at the St. George Theater in Staten Island watching it, and you kind of get their contemporary feels looking back on it. And the Wu-Tang is like a really interesting story from just the all-time great hip-hop group to some of them now being superstars and some of them now being like, you know, fucking virtually nameless. Lord only knows. Lord knows if they have any money left. And you could tell some of them were kind of bitter that some of them, that Method Man was like the fucking.
That Method Man is like almost won an Oscar. And...
yeah, exactly. And nobody remembers who the fuck, you know, You God is. And it was a lot just to do with the timing and the business of it all.
Fucking 47 members of one hip hop group. I've said this before in the show too. Like, I love Wu-Tang, but that's the problem. Is like, dude, sitting down like listen to one Wu-Tang song is like reading a couple chapters in a book because everyone's got to get their verse. It's like, all right, get ready for another 16-minute song, dude.
No doubt about it. And, you know, they all have, like, most of them have unique enough, like, voices and styles that you can tell who they are. But you can't tell who all these fucking guys are. You know what I mean? There's 15 of them back and forth. I'm supposed to buy all these albums? Like, Jesus. But that was a great, though, you know, docu-series, the Of Mics and Men. I gotta watch this Hulu doc, though. Or this Hulu series.
The series?
The dramatized show.
I haven't watched it yet either, but...
We talked about it on the Geeked Up podcast, I guess I'll throw it out there. I did watch Cutthroat City. I don't know if we did. I don't know if I did mention it on the show. But we did talk about Cutthroat City, the new RZA movie that came out.
Oh, yes.
Starring the dude from... starring the dude that looks like Tupac. Not the finest of works. Enough said. I'm giving it to David Allen Greer, Damon Wayans, Men on Films hated it. But other than that...
Okay, at least it's not getting a Nick Cage.
Yeah. Well, it's the RZA, okay? Fucking that's... That's all. But...
He's done some work, dude. Kind of on the topic of this one, too, there's also a documentary out there just called Biggie and Tupac that came out in, like, 97, I think. And it's really just focuses... more on like the East Coast, West Coast beef, which we'll talk about more in this, like how this documentary is a little different from that. But that was, I remember that was being a big one too, because I forget what the book was called written around the time, but like, you know, a big thing of it was like both their murders are unsolved. Who did it? And
no, as we've talked about, there's been or I guess we haven't talked about it. We talked about it off air, but there's been no shortage of like coverage and media attention on this kind of stuff. There hasn't necessarily been the definitive Biggie documentary, but there's been enough, especially even 20 years ago, there was like that VH1 Behind the Music that kind of even then pretty much detailed the main suspect in the Biggie death, who then died a couple years after that. So it's like a cold case, but I think it's a cold case because the guy that they know did it died, fucking of his own criminal activity years ago. So that's why there hasn't been anybody like charged in the case, is because he's been dead for fucking 15 years. But it's not like there's been any like shortage necessarily of coverage or attention. If you've been a big Biggie fan looking for the info and wanting to relive the East Coast West Coast rap years, there's all sorts of shit on that subject for sure.
Absolutely. 100%. Then I would also say another recent kind of documentary, though, about, I guess, a rapper that's, Jay-Z's Fade to Black is a big recent documentary.
Yep.
That I haven't seen myself, but...
I didn't see that. Was that an Apple TV one, I want to say? Did that debut, on Apple?
That could have been, actually.
Yeah, I didn't... Because I haven't seen that either, but not the biggest Jay-Z fan. We'll probably, over the course of the show, kind of get into some of our favorite rappers of the era. But I was always more of a Nas guy than a Jay-Z guy. And then much like not supporting Tupac because of my hilarious suburban allegiance to Biggie, I held a grudge against the West Coast. But so I held a grudge against Jay-Z for my Nas loyalty. And
very interesting. I mean, we could say now, we'll talk about it later too, but I mean, there was one of the more famous rap beefs, but you would say career-wise, Jay-Z won that battle, but there's that one diss track from Nas, which is like maybe one of the best fucking diss tracks in the world.
Yeah. The bridge is over. The bridge is over. But yeah, no,
I think it opens up with him just going, Jay-Z's got AIDS. It's like, fuck yeah.
But we can maybe get into later on, teaser alert, but we'll maybe be talking about some other documentaries that we'd like to see and some of our favorite, some of the rappers that we would, like to see. Potentially that would be a good kitschy question for later on in the show. But in terms of the rapper documentaries, though, I'd say that's pretty much about it. Like you said, a couple, documentaries about Run DMC in the beginning, Fab Five and Freddy and the, foundation of hip-hop has, been documented or whatnot. But in terms of, your favorite artists, especially from the 90s gangster era, not really as many documentaries yet as I'm sure there will be after this successful Biggie documentary,
Ooh, baby, it's time to get geeked up.